You've probably been hearing a lot of buzzword lately. AI agents, AI assistants, tools that can help you think, make decisions, chat, and so on. But have you ever wondered how these tools are built? What powers them, and can you actually build them? Today we're going to talk about one powerful tools that help you build this AI-powered application. It can help you build things like chatbots, AI-powered assistants, PDF readers, and so on. That tool is called LangChain. And trust me, by the end of this video, you won't just know what LangChain is, you will be inspired to build with it. Now, why should you care about this LangChain tool? We know that AI models can generate content for us, it can write essays, it can generate videos, it can generate image, and so much more. Well, LangChain takes the power of these large language models and combine them with real-world tools, APIs, memory, logic, databases, and so on. Now, it is not just about talking to AI. It is now about giving AI the ability to think, make decisions, and take action on your behalf. We don't need to be an AI expert or train your own model to have an AI-powered application. With LangChain, Python, and these LLM models, you can start building your own custom AI application. In this video, you're going to learn what LangChain is, how it works, and what you can build with it. Let's get started. For this section, we are going deep into the definition of LangChain. We're not just looking at what LangChain really is, but we're looking at why it exists and where it fits into the AI world. First, let's break down the word LangChain. Let's break it down into two parts, lang and chain. So lang is just a short form of language, while chain is a sequence of steps or components that are linked together. So LangChain is about chaining together components to build intelligent language applications. Now, what problem does LangChain actually solve? Let's go back a bit and ask a bigger question. Let's say you go to ChatGPT website and type, write a poem about pizza. It will reply you with something really creative, right? Or what if you ask, what was the last article I asked you to summarize yesterday? Or, can you look up the stock price for me? Or something like, can you fetch data from my database and analyze it? None of those things are easy or even possible out of the box. But why are they not possible? Large language models can't really remember things over time. And they can't also interact with your external systems like files or database. And they are built to be a smart responder, not a full-fledged apps. Now, how does LangChain come in? LangChain is a framework that helps developers build powerful applications using large language models. It connects the model to memory, external data, tools, API, files, and so on. So your AI app can do much more than just responding to your text. Let's make it even more simpler with this example. Imagine you're building a smart robot chef, right? And you're using ChatGPT. ChatGPT will be like the brilliant chef brain. It knows the recipes, the cooking methods, and the flavors. But it doesn't know where your fridge is or what ingredients you have. It doesn't remember what you cooked yesterday. It can't control the stove or oven. So what do? You build a kitchen system around that brain. A system that connects to your fridge to check for ingredients, save past recipes, order groceries, and controls the kitchen tools. That is what LangChain is doing. It turns ChatGPT from a talking brain into a real-world assistant. LangChain is actually a toolbox or a framework for building apps using AI brains. It's a way to connect AI models to memory, files and documents, databases, APIs, tools like calculators, browser, etc. It is a system to chain steps together into a working application. Now, why should you really care about LangChain? LangChain lets you build powerful tools, not just use AI passively. You can build AI customer support agents, personal research assistants, PDF or legal document summarizers, data query boots for your company, code generators, health advisors, and so many things. Before we move on, I want you to ask yourself, what is one app you wish AI could build for you? Now keep that in mind, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to get started with LangChain. We have now understood what LangChain is and why it matters. Next, we are going to break it down into main parts. LangChain has different core components like chains, prompt templates, memories, tools, agents, retrievers, document loaders, vector stores, and so on. So now that we understand that LangChain is a tool to build smart apps using AI, let's talk about the heart of it all, LLM, known as Large Language Model. LLM is a type of AI that has been trained to understand and generate human language tests based on the patterns it has seen in a huge amount of data. Let's go back to the kitchen example we used earlier. Imagine a chef who has to read every single recipe book in the world, watch millions of hours of cooking shows, study every food culture on earth. Now you ask, hey, make me something spicy and sweet with chicken. The chef can reply, sure, how about a honey glazed chicken stir fry? That is what an LLM does, not with food, but with language. It knows how words are used, what comes next, what makes sense, and what sounds like human. Think of it like this. To train a language model, researchers feed it massive amount of text from books, websites, Wikipedia, articles, code, prompts, and so on. Example of LLM model is GPT-4, which is owned by OpenAI. We also have another one, Llama, owned by Meta. This is actually open source. These are all large language models. Different brain trained on different data, each with its own strengths. Now, what does LangChain do with these LLMs? When you use LangChain, you're not just talking to a model. You are building workflows around that model. LangChain will let you send dynamic prompt to the LLM, chain multiple calls to the LLM together, add logic and conditions to the conversation, pull data from a document and pass it to the LLM, add tools so that the LLM can do things like math or file search, add memory so that the LLM doesn't forget past conversation. So while the LLM is the brain, LangChain is actually the one in charge of these workflows. Now that we understand what LLMs is, let's introduce the next foundational building block of LangChain called prompts. Prompts is just the message you send to LLM asking it to do something for you. It is just like giving instructions to your very smart assistant. Something like summarize this paragraph in 3 bullet points or write a love letter in the style of Shakespeare. So why are prompts so important? LLM don't know your intention unless you spell it out clearly. Now, in LangChain, there is something we call prompt templates. This is really a powerful tool. Let's say you want to build an app that will summarize news articles, answer product questions, and also write birthday poems. We don't want to hard code every single prompt. So that is where prompt template comes in. But let's take a look at this code. The prompt is saying translate the following text to French. But we are not actually hard coding the text that is meant to be translated. And decide later on to translate different types of text, something like hello, how are you, or my name is. This makes this prompt reusable, dynamic, and also clean. Now we understand LLMs and prompt templates. It is time to introduce one of the most powerful tools in LangChain, called chains. A chain is a sequence of steps where each step fits into the next, like a mini workflow powered by AI. Imagine you're teaching a robot how to make a sandwich. You won't just say, make a sandwich. You have to break it down into steps. The first step can be get 2 slices of bread. Second one, add peanut butter. Third one, add jelly. Fourth, put the slices together. And finally, serve on a plate. Each step depends on the last one. That is exactly how chain works in LangChain. Let's say you want your app to summarize an article, translate that summary to French, and turn it into a tweet. You can rather use LangChain to combine steps and manage the workflow. The first step can get the summary, another will translate it, another will make it tweetable. So we have different types of chains in LangChain. We have the simple chain, the sequential chain, the router chain, and the custom chain. So the simple chain is the most basic chain, just the inputs, the prompts, LLM, and the outputs. Now the sequential chain is in multiple steps where the output of one becomes the input to the next one. Next is the router chain. Think of this as a traffic controller. It routes your input to different chains based on what the user says. Like if your question is about maths, it sends it to the math chain. If it's about travel, it sends it to the travel chain. The fourth one is the custom chain. You can also build your own chain by combining multiple components like LLMs, prompts, tools, retrievers, and memory. Imagine you're building an app that helps users prepare for interviews. First, you take a job role. Second, you generate likely questions for that role. Third, you give ideal answers. Then fourth, you summarize the tips. Each of these steps uses a prompt and LLM, so you can just chain them together. So when do you actually use chain? You use chain when your task has multiple steps, when you want clean, readable code, when you're building an AI app that feels smart, or when you want to avoid copy-pasting prompts after prompts. Now let's go into memory. Memory in LangChain is the ability of a language model to remember past interactions, allowing it to recall information across different steps in a conversation or process. Imagine you're chatting with a virtual assistant, and every time you ask something, it forgets everything you've said before. But with memory, LangChain can remember details from previous interactions and use that information to improve responses or take actions in future steps. LangChain offers different types of memory depending on the needs of your application. Let's start with the simple memory. This is the simplest form of memory that just stores data as key value pairs. You give the AI information. Let's take, for example, your name. The AI remembers this data for the rest of the conversation. This memory is not persistent, meaning it only lasts for the duration of a single conversation. Second one is conversation memory. In a conversation memory, the AI doesn't just store facts like, my name is Tekinos. It stores the entire dialogue. Every time you interact, the AI remembers your previous messages and replies. It allows the assistant to hold a conversation rather than starting fresh every time. Third is persistent memory. Unlike simple memory or conversation memory, persistent memory allows the AI to store information across sessions. The AI can remember past conversation even after you turn off the app or come back the next day. For example, it might remember the tasks that you have completed in a project or your last conversation about a particular topic. LangChain allows memory to play a role in complex workflows, combining with chains to enhance the AI's intelligence. If you have a multi-step task, the memory can store user input at each step to make sure that the entire process runs smoothly. Now we are moving on to another core component of LangChain called tools. Tools are external functions that the language model can call when it needs to perform tasks outside its own knowledge or ability. The LLM is great at generating tests, is great at answering questions, is great at reasoning, but sometimes it needs help like looking up real-time information online, doing complex maths, sending an email, calling an API, running a search on your database. Now that is where tools come in. You, the developer, can plug into these tools so that your LLM can use them. LLMs like ChatGPT are trained on a lot of data, but they have limitation. Let's take a look at this workflow. You ask AI something like, what's the current price of Bitcoin? The LLM receives the question and realizes, I really need a tool for this. LangChain lets the model choose the right tool, example, a crypto price API. LangChain runs the tools, gets the results, the LLM takes that results and uses it to continue the conversation. Now you get an intelligent answer, something like, as of now, Bitcoin is trading at $64,000. LangChain provides many pre-built tools, but you can easily build your own. Example of some built-in tools can be calculators, browser tools, search tools, etc. You can also create your own tool like, let's say you have a weather API, a database of customers' orders, a calendar integration. You can turn each of these into a tool and the LLM can start using them in conversation. One of the most powerful things in LangChain is agents. So using agents and tool, the AI can decide what to do and then take action. Now we'll go into agents. Imagine you have a smart assistant powered by a language model, let's say GPT-4, that can do many things like calculate numbers, search the web, read files, send emails, etc. But here's the catch. How does it know which tool to use? And more importantly, how does it know when to use it? That is where agents come in. An agent is the decision-making engine in LangChain. It lets LLM decide what steps to take, what tools to use, and in what sequence during the conversation. Let's say you're building an AI that searches Google for stock prices, calculate investments return, and summarize the results in a sentence. Without agent, you need to hard code the steps. But with agents, you can let the LLM figure out the workflow on its own. An agent can analyze your inputs, choose the right tool, run it, reflect on the results, decide the next step, repeat it if necessary, and deliver the final answer. It is like asking your assistant, can you tell me how much I will earn if I invest $5,000 in Bitcoin today for 1 year at 7% annual return? That is a multi-step task. First, it will need to get the current Bitcoin price on a compound interest formula, then format the answer using LLM. The agent figures out the whole chain of reasoning on its own. All the use cases of agents are AI travel assistant, research bots, DevOps bots, personal assistant, etc. Next up is retriever. Language models are smart, but they don't know your documents, your business data, or even your latest code. So how do you allow an LLM to answer questions based on your own data? Now that is where retriever comes in. A retriever is a component in LangChain that lets your AI search through external documents like PDFs, Notion pages, emails, or databases and retrieve the most important data based on a question. What is the difference between a retriever and memory in LangChain? Memory stores conversation history, while retriever stores external knowledge or documents. Memory is used to keep track of chat context, while retriever answers based on real-world data. What makes up a retriever? There are usually three parts in building a retriever. We have the documents loader. This one loads your text documents like your PDF and your CSV files. We have the embeddings. This one converts text into numbers, known as vectors. 3, we have the vector stores. This one stores and search vectors. Now we have the retriever. This is like the interface to pull back relevant documentation. Now for vector stores, LangChain supports multiple vector stores. We have Python, we have Chroma, we have Qdrant, a lot of vector stores that LangChain supports. So based on what you actually need. Now we have something called retriever augmented generation. RAG is a technique where the retriever finds relevant content and the LLM generates a final answer using that content. We just completed an introduction class on LangChain. We said that LangChain is a framework that helps you build powerful AI applications using LLM, memories, databases, agents, tools, and so on. I hope this video helps break down not just what LangChain is, but how to use it. So this is just the beginning. I'll be creating more series on LangChain and we'll be building powerful AI applications step by step. If you found this video helpful, click on the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep building, keep learning.